Everybody, guess what? We have a special guest this morning. I'm so excited. It's Lindsey Stirling. She's going to be at FirstBank next week, our great, incredible amphitheater. We're going to talk all about it. How's it going this morning?
It's good. It's a beautiful day. My body's feeling good. My spirit's feeling good.
Yes. Hey, I noticed on social media you're really into the Olympics since we're all watching the Olympics and you have a
Yeah.
special connection. I want to talk about the show, but I want to talk about this first because I find this
Yeah.
so amazing. Tell us about that.
Well, Suni Lee, she is our gold medalist champion gymnast, and she used my song Underground in the last Olympics in Tokyo. And it was kind of a surprise to me. I heard about it after the fact because we were on tour and I missed it that day. And so I watched it after the fact and was like, really, that was amazing. And it's really cool that, again, I found out this time ahead of time that she was using my song, I Have the Untold Her, which is from my new album. And so it was so cool to get to sit there and watch and anticipate. And, my dancers and I all stayed on the bus and watched it. And it was so emotional to watch her, just especially knowing her story and everything she's been through, and watch her use that particular song that means a lot to me. It was really special.
That's pretty amazing. I would think as an artist, you have to feel some special, recognition because they chose your music. I mean, they only get, I think that routine's a minute and a half. They don't get to sample a lot of music.
Yeah, and just the fact that she's used it now twice in the Olympics, and I feel like I'm her little cheerleader. Just I've been there with her through her practices, with my music and getting to just I don't know. It was just I actually cried through the whole thing. I was so
Oh,
emotional.
well, they're doing great. And
Yeah.
I know I've been watching them. Like, it's so exciting to watch this year's team. So I
Yeah.
just noticed that yesterday, and I was like, oh, I need to ask her about that because I don't think I've ever had a chance to ask an artist about music that's been used in Olympics. So that's
I
incredible.
know. It's pretty cool.
Let's talk about your show next week at First Bank. I I don't know if people have seen any samples of your shows, but they are so incredible visually, sound wise. There's a lot going on. So I know it's gonna be hard to explain, but help us understand what people are gonna see.
It's I think people are always quite surprised when they come to my show for the first time because I'm known as being a violinist, but it is a theatrical experience. Everything from obviously the music, but I have amazing dancers. I have 5 incredible dancers. I have an amazing band, and so the dancing in it. I am so proud of the costumes. The costumes are so fun. It's just eye candy everywhere. And then we also do aerial acrobatics. Myself and 2 of my dancers are aerialists, and so we'll be up in the air spinning around. And it's just a full production, and my entire team has worked so hard. And I don't know, I think it's a pretty magical experience.
Yes, that's a good word for it, a magical experience. Tell me about that moment when you were talking to your production team and you're like, yes, I want to go up in the air. And not only am I going to go up in the air, I'm going to play my violin. So, what was that like?
Oh gosh, the very first time that I told them, I have this idea, and they all kind of rolled their eyes and said, no, we don't have time to do that. Also that's not safe. But when I get an idea, I get pretty persistent, and so I just started to train. And,
Yeah.
then it became like, hey, I've put in the time. I've worked really hard. Look what I can do. And also my team is incredibly supportive. So after they saw, they're like, oh, she's serious. Okay, let's figure this out, and I think my team is now not as nervous. I know my managers, they close their eyes when they come to the show at that part. But, I always remind them, I'm like, I'm very trained at this point. I'm also very careful. I don't do anything that I do not feel 100% safe in. So don't worry, anybody who's watching, it's very safe.
Yeah. But don't do this at home.
But yes, you have to be trained. Do not try this on your monkey bars.
Yeah, yeah. It is pretty amazing though. I mean, is it obviously it has to be a little bit more difficult to play the violin while hanging upside down from a tell us about that. I mean, we've all seen Pink do the aerials and she's singing upside down. We're all amazed. But to me, it seems even more difficult to play an instrument while you're hanging upside down.
It's something I've definitely had to practice rigorously. Especially it's it's the hanging, it's the spinning, it's the the fact that it's a bow that I've practiced my whole life with gravity pulling down on it, and suddenly
Yeah.
you're playing and gravity's pulling the opposite way. So it definitely is something I've had to get used to, but it's so worth it because it's so fun to hear that reaction and to see people's eyes light up and just be like, oh, wow. I don't know. Since I was a kid, I've loved to entertain people. I've loved to surprise people. And so throwing things in the show that I just know are going to make people like sit back in their chair and go, what? I don't know. That makes it all so worth it and so fun every night to be like, oh, they're about to be surprised.
Talking about your show, and you've been inspiring a lot of young fans who always seem to come to your shows. Tell us about that. And like sometimes you try to interact with them during the show.
Yeah, I mean, I just think about like young Lindsey and the things that inspired me when I was a kid. Like I have very vivid memories of like seeing certain things, and it wasn't just violinists, because I was definitely inspired by seeing violinists play. And I remember very specifically like one violinist, I don't know who he was, but I remember seeing him, and he actually played an electric violin. It was the first time I'd seen that. And I just remember being like a little light bulb went on in my head as like a 8-year-old, and so and I can think of like other things, like times when I saw like jugglers, and I just was like, what the human experience are they doing? And so it's really exciting to be able to create experiences for people that hopefully like these kids will like have a little light bulb moment of like, I didn't ever become a juggler, but still it awoke something in me of like a little bit of a circus spirit. And you just never know what's going to stick in a child's mind, and or a teenager's mind or an adult's mind. Like I have people who tell me that they picked up the violin in their 30s, because they found something really exciting. And so anyways, I love the fact that people were part of my story, and that I now get to be a part of other people's story.
And you've also been part of a gold medal story.
Does that mean that I am my music, I should say, not me, my music, does that mean my music is a gold medalist?
I think we might be able to say that.
I'm not expecting one in the mail, but I'm just gonna clock that in my head.
Hey, it's been great to catch up with you. The show is next week at FirstBank Amphitheater on Tuesday. I heard there's just a few tickets left. People should definitely get them. I don't think they'll be disappointed. You have a great, some friends opening for you. Tell us about that real quick before we go.
Yeah, we've got Walk Off the Earth opening, who they are so fun. Like it's a full night experience. They're like really family friendly because they even bring their kids out on stage with them. And, and I love that because I've got a lot of kids in the audience, a lot of teenagers, a lot of adults, but there's kids. And so for them to see other kids up there, like performing, I think that is pretty inspiring. And so, but yeah, their whole act is so fun. And then I think we have Audrey that night as well with us, who is, she's a young artist that's like an up and comer who's great. So anyways, it's a full night experience and I'm super excited.
And it'll be, is this your first time at FirstBank Amphitheater?
It is. I've heard so much about it. I've heard it's just absolutely stunningly beautiful. I'm already prepping for the humidity, just mentally. I hear it's super hot in Nashville. We had a very sweaty show last night, so we're like kind of priming ourselves to get ready for it. But I know it's going to be really exciting. I love Nashville.
Yes. Well, hopefully we'll try to turn down the humidity before you get here. But FirstBank is an awesome venue. I mean, some people call it the Red Rocks of the South, but it's not Red Rocks, it's gray. So the gray rocks of the South.
Oh, I love it. That's so, yeah, I've seen pictures. It's stunning.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we will see you all next week. You guys don't miss the show. School starts the end of next week. So this will be a great back to school event.
Absolutely. And the summer with a string. I forget I said that.
We knew where you were going. Let's just end with the gold medal song.
Yeah, let's go back to that. Remember?
Yeah.
Gold medal violin.
Yes. Hey, it's great to catch up to you.
You too. Bye.